got it, man. You got it. And I remember, by the way, I remember seeing you go through that, and just getting excited. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
getting excited. And here's a guy again who put down the phone, picked up the paycheck. I just love saying that.
I love. Say it again. I want to hear it one more time.
Put down the phone and pick up the paycheck.
I love it.
You take the phone, you put it down, and you pick up the paycheck because you can't hold both at once. Paychecks are heavy when you start making a lot of money. You kind of gotta like lift them up, and carry them around.
That's right. You got to have both hands. You don't have another hand for the phone.
Anyways, appreciate you, buddy, and thanks for your insights here. I'm gonna move over to Chris Schreckert and you know, feel free to just scoot on out whenever you need to scoot out or hang out. Whatever you want to do is cool. You know, appreciate you. Chris Schreckert. Chris is a different guy, and I wanted to bring him out. Now, I think you're still part-time here, but you know, you've came out and just, you know, you started creating an extraordinary amount of results in a short period of time. We get a lot of people, and my only regret sometimes in doing these hangouts, it's really different here because I don't know all the people making money by name. You know what I mean? Even who are making $10,000 a month and above, because there's always new ones all the time. And you know, everybody on our top hundreds making over $5,000 a month. But you know, you came out there and you were producing extraordinary results. You never ask for anything. You're never demanding. You know, whenever I've asked you to do anything, you say, you know, I'm here to serve, which I actually, I've really liked that, you know, just as a perspective that, you know, sometimes people are there to take, you know what I mean? And you always said, when I've said, you know, hey, you know, can you help us something? He says, you know, I'm here to serve. Chris Schreckert, he's a different guy. Everybody watching this, you know, and I'd take some notes just from that. But first, philosophy, right? Let's talk about values that you've got that what you've produced here, and I know that you've been in direct sales before. You were producing amazing results over you know, doing meetings and stuff with super high ticket stuff, right? Super high ticket stuff. What are your philosophies that help you to create the amount of results that you've got in the amount of time that you've got, because it's extraordinary?
Sure. I mean, obviously, a lot of people want results right away. I think one of the biggest things that I experience out there in the field, I'm sure you experience it too, is people get in and in their first 3 days or their first week, they're really, really disappointed and frustrated with themselves for not getting the results. So I've always kind of looked at this as a long-term venture, a challenge. I've looked at this as like just a growth period. I don't look at it as sort of like, hey, I'm going to get in, and if I don't do this, I'm going to be upset. I just get in and just get started and just get going. And every day I'm going to learn something new. Every day I'm going to grow. And if I just learn and apply these things, obviously I'm going to become a better human being. I'm going to become better at sales. I'm going to become better at business. And so that's sort of my attitude towards everything. So yeah, I do think the biggest misconception out there is that people get in and they expect. It's good to expect big things. I don't want to take away from that. But at the same time, if you're easily frustrated or you're easily disappointed by not hitting these unrealistic goals for you, or even if they're possible, still, I mean, you give yourself no leeway for a learning curve. To get frustrated and get upset is it's actually detrimental to their business. And so one thing that I've been teaching people now at the start of 2013 is to really get a little bit more laser focused, to really get a little bit more just steer towards the direction you want to go, and when you start steering a little bit left, a little bit right, just get right back on track with what you're doing and be a lot more effective. Set a goal to like get laser focused and be more effective with your time, because as long as you accept the fact that you're on a journey, then you're not going to be so frustrated if after walking 3 steps you didn't reach your destination. You're going to realize you're 3 steps closer to your destination. And by having the proper mindset and the proper foundation, you know, people realize this is a phenomenal opportunity. I mean, what we're going to learn here in this journey, we're going to be able to take and apply for the rest of our lives in any internet marketing venture, and any products that we ever want to do, anything, any company we ever want to consult for. You know, heck, just throwing it out there, if all I did was go in Empower Network, study all the information, apply it, and have some success here in Empower Network, if that's all I ever did, I could take what I learned and I could go out and be a consultant to Fortune 500 companies or even just small businesses around the country. I don't think I'd ever have to struggle to make money ever again in my life just with what I can learn through my experience with Empower Network. See, that's the part of the journey that I think if people understand that, if they have the right foundation, what you're learning, what you're going to take away from just from the learning experience alone is worth far more than the cost of entry in this program. I mean, I'll give you a couple examples. You know, Tony Rush. Okay, Tony Rush is just talking about effective communication. Well, you know, I spy on Tony Rush a lot. Tony's very, very easy to listen to. He's very methodical. He's intelligent. He never runs out of things to say. One thing he taught me early in the business, and he didn't teach me personally. Tony didn't get me on the phone. Actually, I don't think I've ever been on the phone with Tony. It's possible, but I don't think we ever have. But he just taught it openly to the company, to everybody. Everybody had the same learning experience that I had. Just the question is, did they take away from it? Tony Rush said, you know, when you're going out and you're buying leads and you're going and doing lead generation, you know, you might get some sales, but that's not really where you get your sales from. Sales comes from effective communication. So as you build this list, your sales are going to come from the ability to effectively communicate with that list. So you might have an autoresponder going. That's cool. But if it's somebody else's autoresponder, that's great. Plug and play, you're in the game. But that's not your personal communication. Or you might be doing swipe emails, like you might have sent out a swipe email to this webinar tonight from David Wood. That's great. Doing something is better than nothing. But as soon as you learn how to be an effective communicator with your list and start off your emails with these little personal stories and just really learn how to engage with your list, make it more real, you know, your sales start to dramatically go up. They start to spike up. And when I heard that little tip, all I did, and Tony doesn't even know this, I'm just giving him some credit right here, but all I did was I took what I learned and I started teaching it to my team as well, and I started doing it myself, and I watched my email conversions literally double off of, you know, and I'm being very, very generic with what he said. He said, you know, effective communication is where the sales are at. Obviously, taught a lot more in the training in Empower Network. So I'm smart enough to know I bought the training and study from him. But just these little tidbits are part of this journey where when I walk out of here, I'm going to walk out of here with an equivalent of a master's degree in internet marketing, like a black belt in internet marketing, where I came in with a little bit of experience. I had a little belt on, but it was the first belt you get, the first notch on the ladder. And I'm going to come out of here with a black belt. I'm going to come out of here armed and equipped with the knowledge and information that is going to make it so I never have to worry about unemployment. I never have to worry about feeding my family. I never have to worry about what the job market's doing, what the economy's doing. Forever, I could be an entrepreneur, and I could literally go out there and either create my own business, or I can market with a company like this, or I can go out there and consult with big companies. Because of this journey. And by that, having that foundation and just accepting that, I'm not worried about the learning curve. You know, I'm not worried about the stumbling blocks that are going to come along the way. I'm just not concerned with that at all. So I have this foundation, and I encourage everybody listening to do the same thing. In 2013, just get over the whole being a whiner and a complainer. Be over, you know, making excuses. I heard a long time ago, you can make excuses or you can make money, but you can't make both at the same time. So if you're busy making excuses, you're going to notice you're not making money. If you're busy making money, you're going to notice you're not making excuses. So every day you've got to wake up and decide which one am I going to be? Am I going to make excuses or am I going to make money? Now, in Empower Network, the new version of that is, am I going to be a wussy or am I going to be a badass? Because we have a wussy and a badass both sitting on our shoulders at any given time. You know, like the old story of like you got like the good angel and then you got like the devil, the bad angel. Well, the devil's like your inner wussy, and your inner wussy is just always feeding you stuff in your ear, is always telling you all this stuff about how you don't have money, you can't go all in. Why is David Wood always pitching all in? Doesn't he respect people like me that are broke? Doesn't David Wood understand that I'm broke? And you got this inner wussy that's always speaking. But then you have this inner badass over here that's saying, dude, you deserve more. Your family deserves more. You love your family. You know, dude, you can do this. You literally can do this. And you got this battle going on all the time. And, you know, having the right foundation to be able to just take your inner wussy and be able, you know, in the cartoons, they do it goes poof and it disappears. Well, that's what you got to do. You just got to take that inner wussy and then poof, make it disappear, release the inner badass, and just realize, hey, look, I'm going to stop being that person. In 2013, I'm going to set some goals where I'm no longer going to complain. I'm no longer going to be a whiner. I'm no longer going to be a wussy. I'm no longer going to make excuses. And I'm going to accept the fact that, hey, this is a journey that I'm on, And the faster that I get the right foundation and the right attitude about this, the sooner I'm going to make money. The sooner that I get rid of that wussy and let this badass over here start taking charge, the sooner I'm going to make money. And that's we could teach all day long about specific how-to. We could teach all day about that stuff. But you know what we really need to be doing is teaching to have the proper foundation. I have so many people that say, well, Chris, you know, I can't go all in. Well, my only answer to them is you're right. You can't. I mean, but if you want to rephrase that and say you can go all in, you know, you're right. You can go all in. So many people spend so much time arguing what they think is possible instead of just accepting it and saying, you know what, I left that person back in 2012. I closed the door on 2012. I closed the door on that person, the person that used to be the I can't person, and now I'm the how can I person. Now I'm all about, hey, you know what? Let's be the how can I person. How can I do this? How can I do that? So every single person, if you get rid of your vocabulary, things like, well, I can't afford to go all in. Well, if you say that, you're right. You're going to convince yourself that you can't. But instead, if you say the same thing and just say, how can I go all in? And then do this. It's not anybody's responsibility but yours. So when you say, how can I go all in, it's not your sponsor's responsibility to help you go all in. It's not your team's responsibility. Dave Wood and Dave Sharp, they're my mentors. I just joined directly through a link and ended up with them. You know, they didn't, I don't send them questions about, you know, how do I do this, how do I do that? Or if I have, it wasn't until I was already making 10 grand a month and just wanted to learn how to spike it up a little. I went out there and said, how can I? And then I asked that question to myself. I'm not putting that question out there to the world and saying, you need to answer that for me. I'm saying, how can I, Chris? I'm having an internal discussion with me and my inner badass here. How can I? Me and my inner badass are talking back and forth. And my inner badass, which I just released, is saying, you know what, Chris, I'm going to go to work for you. And while you're sleeping, I'm going to be coming up with ways to make this possible because you want it. You want it bad enough. So my biggest thing that we're talking about here, David, to answer your question, is just the biggest thing about setting up your foundation for your business is just becoming the person that's going to be successful. Become the leader that people want to follow. People don't want to follow a wussy. They just don't. They don't want to follow a complainer. They don't want to follow somebody who's always talking about everything that's negative. They want to follow a winner. They want to follow somebody who's leading by example. So if you spend your time, you know, constantly doubting everything and constantly pointing out what's negative and constantly doing that, what's happening is people don't want to follow that. And you're just not going to get it. And so I just totally agree with what I heard Tracy and Tony say, which ultimately a lot of it is just modeling. You know, if we just model after people that we want to be like and just model after them, I mean, how many people on this Google Hangout are only at the $25 level? Or how many people here how many people in Empower Network do I meet when I go to these conferences and they're having success? How many of them are like, yeah, well, I'm only in at the $125 level. I've made about 25 grand there so far, but I'm only at the $125 level. No, you hear the same thing, which is, hey, look, despite the odds, I went all in. A lot of them didn't have the money. They're like, look, I didn't have the money, but I made a decision to go all in. I did whatever it took. I mean, I sold my car. I did this. I did that. I did whatever it took, and I went all in. And then I took massive action, and I started following all the principles. You know, for some of them, it didn't happen in 3 days. Some of them, it didn't happen in 3 weeks. But eventually, it happened because they modeled after the people that were successful. They started listening to them and following their advice, and eventually, they started getting those results for themselves. And that's really kind of been the New Year's goal for me, David, is just really just modeling after each and every person. Modeling after you, David. David Wood, you taught me about, you know, effective calls to action. Do you know how much more money that's made me by having an effective call to action? I took my income from about $17,000 to $41,000 in a month by taking a principle that you taught me about effective calls to action. Now, what if I invested to go all in this business and I was able to take my income from $17,000 the month before to $41,000, how much is that worth? And how many more months am I going to reap the benefits of that one nugget on creating these effective calls to action? What about David Sharp, you know, teaching me how to be transparent and authentic and being able to be myself, being more comfortable in my own skin, not having to try to fake it, not having to try to, you know, try to become, you know, somebody fake. Just be myself. I mean, I'm sitting here super casual, just not really caring. Sure, I don't cuss like some of the other people here, and maybe we have different beliefs on things, but you guys accept me for who I am. It's this total, transparent, authentic. Heck, you want to learn about transparency. If you can ever get around Ashley, I had a chance to hang out with her in Florida last week. Ashley's like this just amazing person with probably the stories that would are crazier than anything you've heard from any of us. And she's sharing those with me, and it's just what I took away from that experience is just like, holy smokes, we have some very, very real people here. It's a very, very real thing. These aren't people who are just out to take advantage of people. These are people that are out there that have maybe been taken advantage of in their life, and they don't want that, and they're on a mission to be able to actually go out and help people. And Tracy, I'll go over to Tracy. Tracy taught me team culture. When I first got in the business, looking at the dream team and looking at what they did and modeling after that, I looked at her and said, now there's a leader that I can model after when it comes to creating team culture and community culture. So you see, there's these people. There's Lawrence Tam, who showed me that it was possible to be part-time in this business and create a significant income part-time. So what I did was I looked at the people that were successful, I modeled after them, and I followed in their footsteps. And I only had about an hour or two a day to do it. So I was very, very, very focused in that hour or two a day to say, how can I take some of what David Wood teaches, some of Tony Rush, some of Tracy Walker and Lawrence Tam and David Sharp and Ashley Needles, and you name all the leaders out there. How can I do it? And that's it. See, I'm on a journey. I'm on a journey. So, if I have to fail my way forward, I'm fine with that. If I have to hit a few bumps in the road, I didn't get 2,000 leads in the last 24 hours like Tony Rush did. Heck, I haven't even ventured into the paid advertising game. 99% of what I've done is just free advertising. My two main strategies are Facebook and Power Network blog. That's where I get probably 95% of all my business comes from those. I even created a couple of my own custom sales funnels just to mess around with it and have some fun with it. But at the end of the day, like clockwork, man, that Empower Network blog keeps ranking for me. So I'm going to be learning so much more about paid advertising and all this stuff. But that's it. That's Dave. I mean, David, it's kind of a long answer, but I'm just so excited to be out here. I'm so excited for what 2013 has to bring, and there's just so much on my mind.
Well, I appreciate you, man, and I like the way I always like different perspectives that are all successful. And what I want to do real quick is just point out a couple of things here. But also, if you're watching this webinar and you're not in, number one, get in. Okay, and if you're in already, you need to get to Austin, Texas. You need to get to Austin, Texas. You need to bring a camera with you, and you need to get some videos to use in your marketing. If no other purpose than that, you need to get there. You also need to get there for what Tony Rush said, which is you need to surround yourself with people that got the results that you want. We're not one of these groups that does like millions of meetings all over the place. They're not pitch fest. They're NDA events. You're not even allowed to talk about what goes on in there when you're outside of it. And you just need to get to Austin. Trust me, get there. Log into your back office. There's a green button. You need to buy your tickets now because we're almost sold out for all the event ticket seats. We only got like a few hundred event ticket seats that are possible left. Okay. We only can fit a certain amount of people. We've got hotel information, everything on the My Programs tab where you can get your hotel rooms. You need to get to Austin. Okay. First of all, get in, get to Austin, get all in, and we're going to meet you there. We're going to show you how to take it through the top. I'm going to talk more about Austin and more about what's next here, and also more about focus as we go along. But a couple things I wanted to point out. A couple of these guys have mentioned that they disconnect a little bit from thinking that you have to work hard to make money. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to tell everybody why, just real quick. Okay. I want to tell everybody why that is. All right. Because a lot of times people hear that, and it's so against the grain of programming. You know what I mean? Isn't it? I mean, I don't know how many people on here were told that you have to work hard to get money when you're a kid. You know what I'm saying? Now, I ain't just going to say you don't have to work hard, right? That you just have to get in. I'm not going to say that. All right? What I'm going to say is that goes against our grain and kind of like how we're growing up. All right? But what I want you to think about this for a second is how is money how do you actually get money? Okay? And I'm going to, once I describe this, you're going to understand how you can disconnect from thinking you have to work hard to get it. And it's the first step of believing this is easy. Okay? So you got all this money over here that you're going to get. I just like to say get money because it's funny because it makes people nervous just saying it. But you got all this money over here you're going to get. How do you actually get money? Well, in our profession, which is internet marketing or whatever you want to call it, here's how you get money. Okay? Do you make money from phone calls? No. Do you make money from emails? No. Do you make money from sales videos? Well, no, right? How do you make money? You make money from people buying stuff. Right? I mean, it's pretty elementary, but you know, some people gloss over the people. You make money from people buying stuff, right? That's how you make money, is when people decide to buy stuff. You make money, all right? So you could have in direct sales, somebody might buy stuff, you know, 20 levels down in an organization. You might make money from that, right? And you might make money when somebody buys stuff from you, all right? Now, I actually asked that question. It was like a couple years ago. I said, well, how do I actually make money here? And I said, well, I make money when I recruit an affiliate, right, and they buy products, because we only make money for product sales. This is in another company. This is true also in Empower Network. You don't make money for recruiting. You make money from selling, right? Somebody buys a $25 blog, you earn a commission. Somebody buys an Inner Circle membership, you earn a commission. Somebody buys they buy a Costa Rica mastermind, you earn a $500 commission. Somebody buys a 15K formula, you earn a $1,000 commission. Somebody buys a master's course, you earn a $3,000 commission, right? So you earn commissions when people buy stuff, right? That's how you make money, right? Now here's the breakthrough. I asked the question that was a different question asked. I said, do I need to be involved in the selling process at all, or do I still make money if they just buy? Right? And when I thought about it, I couldn't think of a way that I had to be involved in that. For example, I was taught that you had to be on the phone with people, or you're not really doing the business, right? You're not really doing the business. Oh yeah, how many times have people said that to us, Dave? Oh yeah, you're not really doing the business because you're not on the phone. If you don't love the phone, you don't love the business. I was like, well, the business is people buying, not me being on the phone. What does me being have to be? And so if the phone helps, I can hire somebody to be on the phone. I don't need to do it. So guys, you've got the people buy stuff, and you can be completely disconnected from that process, and you still make the money. Isn't it beautiful? That's how you can disconnect. So when you think about that, what actually needs to happen for you to make $1 million in 2013? It's so unbelievably rudimentary. It's unbelievable, right? What actually needs to happen? What needs to happen is you need to get people to buy enough stuff every day to where you make about $3,000 a day. If that happens, you'll make $1 million in 2013, right? Now that might sound real difficult to you, but there ain't a lot there. You need enough people to buy stuff for you to make $3,000 a day on average, and it's best to focus daily. Okay, and we'll talk about that why maybe as we go through, maybe on another live stream. All right. Second thing is that he talked about not having outrageous expectations, Now I'm going to encourage you to be slightly outrageous. All right, and let me clarify what I think here with this. And I'm going to ask him one more question here, and I don't know if he can stay or go. But what do we mean by that? Well, sometimes people get in. Okay, and we're not de-edifying this at all right? Like when I started in Empower Network, we made $250,000 our first month as affiliates, right? From zero, we didn't have a 15K formula. We only had up to the $500 product. We didn't have a $3,000 commission. Dave Sharp and I made $250,000 not owning the company. We did that from the normal affiliate account that was passing up sales to the company. That position made some money too, right? Which, of course, we took all that and put it back into the company, but we made $250,000 as affiliates our first month. Right? Well, some people say, oh, how do you do that? How did you do that? Well, we had a list we had been building for a couple of years, and a lot of influence is how we did it. And we sponsored a lot of good people. We brought in about 600 or 800 people that month, or 1,000 people that month, or something like that, from our existing spheres of influence, because I've been very consistent for a very long time, so I have a lot of people listening to me. So that's not what a new person could do. Vic, this guy named Vic just got in, and in a week he made $280,000, right? Now, sometimes people look at that and they're like, I'm jealous. I've been doing this a long time, right? And I'm not there. And you say, well, okay, let's be fair. So has he been doing it a long time, and he had a big list, all right? So what do you do when you're new? Well, you're obviously not going to go and you're not going to make $280,000 your first month. Even if you're doing the right things, you're not going to do that. It's not going to happen like that unless you're a superhero. Which is, if you're the superhero, you're not the normal person that's doing this. So what do? Well, you focus on 2 sales a day, okay? Because that's enough to where your income will increase dramatically, and it will do it quickly, and you'll be progressing extraordinarily quickly, okay? Focus on getting just the sales every day, creating sales every day. What do you focus on? You're creating sales every day. Now, are you selling? Well, you could be in the selling process. You might not be. It's pretty irrelevant. You just focus on 2 sales a day, okay? So I want to just point that out. And the other thing that I wanted to point out about what he said that I just gonna just reinforce a little bit is modeling the success from different people. He took a concept on closing, on getting people to buy, and that one concept doubles his income like this, okay? Well, similarly, I'm going to go to things that he does that I'm not as good at, and I'm going to model him, right? We can all learn from each other who are succeeding in different ways. right? We can all learn from each other, right? Take what people are doing that gets the results that you want and do that. Chris Record had our first event that he came to one of our events, was not building in power. I think he was just checking us out. The next event he had like 100, 150 people at that event. This next one he'll have 200, 300. Okay, and he's part-time, right? Now, how's he doing that? Well, if we could take what he's doing there part-time and we could teach it and systematize it for everybody, then all of a sudden everybody can get more people to the events, which means everybody has success. And why do you want to get to the events? I'll tell you why. And he knows why. Chris Record knows why, and this happened for him too. Why do you need to get to the events? Well, let me just give you first let's just do the greed factor first, okay? Let's talk about just, I shouldn't say greed, but let's just talk about the money, right? The money here for getting money, all right? Our first event, here's what happened. 1,200 people showed up in a room, okay, in Atlanta, right? 1,200 people showed up, and in 60 days, everybody's incomes doubled who were in the top couple hundred people. The whole company doubled. Tracy got to experience that. Tony Rush got to experience that. We saw it across thousands of affiliates. We saw everybody's incomes double. Why? Because there's something magical about what we're doing, and you'll see it when you go. We cannot do in a live stream what we can do with you in 3 days in an event with nearly 4,000 people, which is what we're going to have in Austin. Next event, what happens? Well, we get 2,700 or something, just under 3,000 people that were in the actual room. Room couldn't quite fit 3,000. We had the room packed out there. What happened? Well, we got these people in the room, right? And again, 60 days. What happens is the entire company doubled in sales volume, right? Within 60 days, right? So here we're coming up to January, which everybody here is setting New Year's resolutions. You're setting goals for the coming year. And you need to get to Austin. You need to go in, log in, buy your tickets for your Austin. And I would say if you're married, bring your wife. And I'd say if you're in some sort of relationship but you're not married, but it's kind of like that anyways, you need to bring them, right? Spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. You need to bring people you love because it'll get them on board with the vision. It'll get them on board with the vision, and you want that. You want them to be on board. Here's the thing, guys. I would go. I'd just log in, buy your tickets to Austin and go, right? Because we're going to get to Austin, and it's going to be a spring forward for 2013. All of you guys are trying to accomplish something in 2013. Most people will set resolutions. This is what the world does, not us. They set resolutions that they never fight for, and they give up on immediately. Those of you who come to Austin, okay, right, you are going to have a game plan, crystal clarity, and you are going to have the ability and the power to get the results that you want. Those of you who decide to go, decide to be, you will experience guys, what we are going to do at this event, there's never been anything like what we're going to do. Why? Well, our first events, Dave Sharp and I created the infrastructure for the events, right? It was a brainchild of two people working together as a mastermind, right? We can talk about this more before we get off the live stream today, right? Here's the difference in the next event, okay? The next event is a brainchild of the top people in the Empower Network representing about $1 million a month in income, okay? It's a brainchild of about 15 people that were about where Dave Sharp and I were when we did our first event. So it's a bigger mastermind with a lot more feedback, ideas, concepts, and energy that's going into it, and we're 10 times as successful now as we were when we did the first event. There will be nothing like this that you'll ever get a chance to attend. As you've never been able to attend something like this in your life, you need to get your butt to Austin, get to Austin. Okay, you need to get there. All right. So last thing. This is a different question for you, Chris. How do you get so many people to events? Because for the size of your team, you have an extraordinary amount of people who get to the events. How do you do that?
Well, simple. I mean, at least it feels simple to me. The event, a lot of people see the event as just this optional thing or this upsell or something like that. I see the event as part of the process. I mean, again, success leaves clues. This is just, I'll speak very, very common sense right now. Success leaves clues. How many successful people are not going to show up at the event in the company? So if you're going to go back to modeling after somebody, you're going to model after leaders to have success, well, are they going to be at the event or not? Have you chosen some leaders to model after, and are they going to be at the event? Now, there might be some. This is an internet marketing company, and it's worldwide. Okay, it's international. So, of course, there might be some people due to the distance that maybe don't go. But, heck, last time there were people from all over the world there. So that impressed me. But for the vast majority, you're going to notice that the people that rise up in the company are at the events. They're the people that go to the events. They understand the importance of events. They understand the importance of local networking, meeting each other. They understand the importance of bringing an online community offline and in person. They understand the importance of recording videos together, taking pictures together, doing in-person testimonials. They understand the importance of the culture that happens. When you walk away from an event, you have a good 30 to 60 to 90 days worth of extra energy. That's just like an energy pack, like in a video game where you boost up in energy. It's like an energy pack that's given to you after you attend an event. That energy pack lasts the next 90 days for you. Everyone's on fire after it. So literally from event to event is how I chose to build my business right in the beginning. So that's just the way that Team Take Massive Action, my team, the way that we build is just event to event to event. That's sort of how we judge the growth of our team, is how many people do we have at this event and how many people do we have at that event. We want to get up to the point of having over 1,000 at an event, over 5,000 at an event, because we understand that big events are where big decisions are made. You know, if you go online and you're getting ready to go all in, I mean, how many, really, how much emotion is it when somebody's just sitting there and they're deciding whether or not to go all in versus if they're sitting at a live event, they're meeting people that have just gone all in, they're hearing stories, they're experiencing the culture, their motivation to go all in is so much higher. So I just know event to event is the way to build the business. So since I know that right from the beginning, that's how we've built our team. Rather than just come up with bonuses or incentives for people who maybe upgrade to products, which we do. We have bonuses and incentives for everything. Right off the bat, we always have a huge incentive for people that show up to the event. Hey, you show up to the event, here's our team incentive. Anything we could do to get people to an event. When we're at the event, we have a team party. Let's party. And we've even helped people that don't even have teams. A lot of people don't have teams. So get to the event and get to meet other people. I mean, that's the team. The big company team is there. It's like the big team party. Get to meet everybody. You'll meet people. You'll belong to a team. So if you're on right now and you're the type of person that might respond and say, hey, my mentor doesn't even help me, or I'm not fortunate enough to be on a team. Well, yeah, you're automatically on the Dave and Dave team. Everybody's automatically on. I'm on the Dave and Dave team. Dave and Dave are my sponsors. That I'm going to go to their team party during the event. They have a big event they throw for the whole company. We're all on a team, and you get to meet these people and experience this culture. And it's unlike anything. I mean, imagine taking a successful online business and then also having a real offline community of real people. Real average ordinary people that are having success, and you can meet them physically in person. You can shake their hands. You can take pictures with them. Now, let me give you a couple of those are just some of the basic reasons why you want to go to events. But let's talk about money for a minute, right? You want to make money. I would think every single person on this webinar probably joined, 90% of you probably joined for the money. Of course, there's some good products and good education, but probably 90% of you join for the money. So let's get a little focused on money here. Here's why events are going to make you a ton of money. Here's why they can make you a ton of money. Okay, number one, exposure is everything. When you go to the event, you want to take pictures of you at the event. Automatically, you have the credibility. You in front of backdrops. You in front of thousands of people. You're in the company. You're automatically doing that. You can share those on your blog. You can share those in your emails. You can share those on Facebook. Okay, you're automatically there. You can take pictures with other leaders. A lot of the leaders here are real and they're down to earth. I mean, of course they're busy because they're getting mobbed by thousands of people, but they make time. It's pretty cool. It's very, very cool. You take pictures with them. You get shots with them. Some leaders even allow you to do videos. If they have time, they'll do a quick video testimonial for you. How much would that be worth? Being able to go be with somebody who, at the last event in San Diego, I had one of my guys, Peter Sorensen, do a video with Tony Rush. And Tony Rush is making like $100,000 a month. We got a video with him and did that interview, and we've had countless amount of people watch that video and jump in the company because of that one video. Imagine if we wouldn't have gone to the event. Imagine how many sales we would have lost. Imagine how many people wouldn't have joined. So financially, here's what you want to do. You want to get to the, and hopefully you're either taking notes or just memorizing this. You want to get to the event. You want to get there early. You want to sit as close to the front of the room as you possibly can. You want to bring your camera and even bring your video camera, or at least bring like an iPhone or something like that. Any smartphone. Okay. What you want to do is you want to get video footage. When you come out of a session, go into the hall and film yourself just how excited you are about something you learn with the backdrop. And then every once in a while, be very courteous and professional about it, because when you see these big leaders they're going to be mobbed by everybody. So stand out a little bit. Be professional. Be courteous. Don't overwhelm them. See if you can get a picture taken with them, and then maybe ask them for a quick testimonial. And don't be bummed if they can't, because they're trying to go straight to the bathroom and everybody's tackling them. But try to get a couple videos, some pictures, and take that back. And now you're equipped with an offline strategy has equipped you with things that you can use online for the next several weeks. For all the whole next month, you could be leveraging all of that stuff to double or triple or quadruple your income in the business. And it's the power of positioning. See, one of the things I love, and this is another thing I learned from David Wood that I've really not heard anywhere in the industry. This is where David Wood is completely opposite of pretty much anyone in the industry. He talks about everybody wants to brand themselves. Everybody gets in and go, the secret to success is to brand yourself. Well, I think that it's true. But where a lot of people misunderstand that is they think in the beginning, on day one, that they have to brand themselves. Really all that's happening is you're branding yourself as an expert when really you're not. Really you're not making any money yet. Really you haven't understood this stuff yet. You haven't even gone through the training in the 15K formula or the master's program yet. You haven't really gotten your black belt yet, but you're already claiming to be a guru. David Wood's got a phenomenal perspective on this. He teaches us to leverage the credibility of other successful people first. So we're leveraging a real credibility, people that are actually really successful and actually have value to provide, leveraging that credibility to earn income ourselves. And then once we start earning income, once we start kind of going up the rank of those belts, if this was martial arts, get your new belts, once you do that, eventually you do become the expert. You do become the guru, and you actually have a brand worth branding. You have a brand worth branding. So this is part of the thing about events, is that you can go to events and you have this built-in credibility that you have that you cannot get in the online world alone. Offline events, these real community events, give that to you. So from a financial perspective alone, the amount of money that you'd potentially be missing by not attending an event is scary. I wouldn't even want to think of the amount of money that I would lose by not going to Austin. Are you crazy? Even if I was my first month in the business, the amount of money I would lose is crazy. Okay, real story. I was in the business for a few days, and I went out to Atlanta, Georgia. Me and a couple of my business partners, people like Hurricane Arthur, Peter Sorensen, George Bailey, a couple friends. We all went out to this event in Atlanta, Georgia, to see what this whole Empower Network thing was about. That event, what I took home from that event, rapidly multiplied my success. So I was able to generate $10,000, roughly $10,000 in commissions in my first 30 days from that event. And now, had I not gone to the event, I'd probably be sitting around trying to figure out how to get my first 10 sales. Because there's really two groups of people, aren't there? There's the group of people that are still trying to figure out how to get a 2 a day, and then there's the other group of people that are getting a 2 a day no matter what. They're doing it every day. Maybe miss a day and make up for it later. There's really two groups of people. And what I've found is that if you really want to get to it gets you to the point where you're going to make this happen no matter what. It gives you an inner motivation that you just can't get when you're dealing with day-to-day life. I've got 2 kids under 2. Sometimes they're happy, sometimes they're crying. Sometimes, like last night, the kid decides to wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning, and guess what? I just got to start my day at 4 a.m. in the morning. I didn't want to do that after going to bed well after midnight, but that's just the price you pay. So when you're dealing with the day-to-day hectic stuff that's going on, there's only so much focus you can have. But when you go to Austin and you go and you sit in the seat there, you're going to have this clarity that's going to come over you because you're going to remove the distractions of the world. You're going to be focused. You're going to be in an environment of a bunch of winners, people that are going to literally be sitting next to you that are going to go from making $1,000 a month to $100,000 a month in the next 12 months, and you're going to literally have had a chance to meet them when they were brand new, when they just overcame being broke, and a year from now you're going to be watching them on stage making $100,000 a month. And for some of you, that's going to be you. So everything comes down to events. Events is how I know how to build a business, event to event to event. And in between the events, this last little piece of knowledge that I'll drop on everybody here is in between the events, there's one thing to focus on that I put the majority of my time on, and that is income-producing activities. Every single day, income-producing activities. And eventually, Tracy Walker said this earlier, in the beginning, it's a grind. It really is. It's in the beginning you're hustling, but then over time it starts compounding and it just starts getting easier and easier and easier to the point where this last month I worked about an hour or 2 a day on marketing for Empower and then took the last 2 weeks off. And literally for those that are on my team, like I was pretty much just completely out of the game. You know, I haven't golfed in several months because of the kids and everything. I went golfing like 5 times last week. You know, 5-6 hours on the golf course, just having fun. Just enjoying it, and no phone. Left my phone in the car. I mean, just even disattaching from my phone made me feel liberated like David Wood. It just made me just feel like, wow, it's actually possible to have a life, maintain a life while building a business. And that's because you focus on income-producing activities. For me, that happens to be things like writing a blog post a day. I spend no more than an hour a day blogging, and I try to spend about half of it writing the post and about half of it promoting the post. And then I do what I call the Facebook method, which is I reach out to 20 new people on Facebook. I just search and find and reach people. Most of them don't respond, but some of them do, and some of them sign up. And it's just been free traffic and free leads and free sales for me, so it's worked, and I enjoy it, and it's something that I can do with my kid on my lap. So it's just a thing that works for me. And, you know, I built up my email list, so every day I try to send out an email, and I'd have to admit that's one of the areas I've fallen the most short on is not sending out emails, so that's another thing in 2013. But that's it. You just figure out what's going to work for you. You know, every time, be placing solo ads, be doing paid advertising, be doing free advertising. You figure out what the income-producing activities are, and you do them with just commit to them. And what happens is those lead to leads on your list, to people joining, to people attending the conference, to people going all in, to you having $10,000 months, then $40,000 months, then $100,000 months, and a year's going to pass by, and you're going to look back and go, no, and people are going to not believe you. They're going to think, oh, well, you already had this big, huge list when you joined, or, oh, you were already an expert. Well, you don't understand my situation. And you're going to look back, and you're going to just freaking trip out. You're going to trip out because you made it happen, and you got to this amazing place in your life where you're no longer financially dunked underwater, and you can pay your bills, and you have extra money, and you can pay your cars off cash, and you can pay off all your credit card debt, and you can not have to worry about feeding your kids, and you're going to look back, and it's going to seem surreal. And the thing is that everybody wants that tomorrow. Everybody wants that result tomorrow. But the reality is that no matter how fast you want it, if you just do income-producing activities, that's going to get you there. And if you're not doing income-producing activities, then it's possible. I just don't know how. The way that I know how that has worked for me in the past, and I've seen it work for people, is income-producing activities. So your New Year's resolutions, or better yet, goals, should be to write down a list of write down a list of income-producing activities that you're going to do every day, even if it's an hour a day or 5 hours or whatever. And when you're done with those, then do the other fun stuff. You know, then do the learning curve stuff. After you've done something, then jump in the 15K formula and study and sharpen your saw. You know, but make sure that you're getting your 2 a day. Today, by 9 p.m. My time, it's my goal every single day. By 9 p.m., my goal is to have 2 new people registered and to have 1 person buy their conference ticket. By 9 p.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern time. That's my goal every single day. And honestly, I haven't hit it every single day, but in 7 months, I recruited 250 people personally just doing that. Now, I'm like the slow tortoise guy who does the 2 a days, and eventually it just adds up. I've not had these big 10-person a day or 20 people a day signups, or 100 people a day like some people have. Just 2 a day. 2 a day, 2 a day, 2 a day. And one more tip I'll leave you with before I'm going to put my kids to sleep right now in a minute. One more tip I'm going to leave you with is this. For those of you that are competitive out there, like myself, and I know it's not everybody, but like myself, for those of you that are competitive, I built my business around the leaderboard, the competition leaderboard. I knew getting on the total income and total leads boards and everything, I knew that was, you know, it probably wasn't going to happen my first day. But the competition leaderboard, Dave and Dave opened it up for everybody. So here's what I did. I focused on just getting myself on the board, and I was like the last guy, like number 500 or whatever, and then number 350, and then number 300, and then number 250. Just inching my way up, doing 2 a day, 2 a day, 2 a day. Because if you do 2 and sell a conference ticket, you get an extra 100 bonus points. Okay, so right off the bat, if you do that, if you just do a 2-1 once before midnight Eastern time that day, you're on the board. So there's your report card. Your report card, and my challenge to you is, if you're not on the leaderboard, get your name on the leaderboard. Do that this week. It requires enrolling 2 people and selling a conference ticket to one of your personally enrolled people in a day. And then if you can do it once, if you can do something once, you can do it over and over and over again. And it starts with 2-1. And then you get to the point where you have your first $1,000 day, then your first $3,000 day, and guess what? When you can have a $3,000 day, if you can do it once, you can do it over and over again, and that's how you become a millionaire. But it all starts with the simple basics. 2 a day, follow the course steps. You hear the leaders saying it, and you think there's really a hidden secret, but that's my secret. 2 a day, and you'll notice I just inch my way up there. Just slowly but surely, I end up there with all these big leaders on the leaderboard, and it's motivating. And whether or not I win the contest doesn't matter, because I'm on a journey to get my master's degree in internet marketing, and I've chosen Empower Network as the university of choice to get my master's degree, and I've chosen to listen to some awesome like-minded people that are here on this chat and all the other leaders in the company. And if you are on the webinar and you end up making a decision to go to Austin, come seek us out, shake our hands, take some pictures, and we'll have a blast out there. But I do got to put my kids, put my kids to sleep. So.
Hey, well, we appreciate you, buddy. And there's people on there, and they're like, every time Chris talks, I want to just get in again. So, guys, if you just heard him talk, I mean, you just heard that. So just get in if you ain't in, and if you're in, get all in and get to the event. You guys got to get to the event. We've actually had a huge amount of people buying event tickets on this live stream, and we've had a lot of people buying other products too. The beautiful thing is, and this is the last thing I'm going to mention here, our first event, we went into it, everybody in the top 100 was making about, because I can only look at the top people for the top 100, that doesn't go on 1,000, so I just kind of like focus on that, but I'm going to have that list expand. I want to see what the top 1,000 are making too. But everybody in the top 100 was making over, it was like $1,400 a month when we went into the first event. By the second event, everybody was making over in a month. Our top 100 were all making like $2,600 a month, right? And now after our second event, that was when we went into the event. Now we're going into the third event here, and everybody in the top 100 is making it's like $5,000 a month or more. And guys, that's a huge increase for 9 months. You know what I'm saying? It's unbelievable, right? What's going to happen in Austin, we'll do more than that. We'll do better, right? I believe. Because it's the new year, and 2013 is the year of the Empower Army. It's the year you guys break through, but you've got to make a decision to get there, right? And you're not going to see that growth if you don't go. So get your butt there, okay? And so real quick, hey, Dave, how are you doing on time, man? I didn't ask you. I don't know what you got going on tonight. You good for a while, or you for like 20, 30 minutes, or you need to take off?
I got to pop off here probably in about 20 minutes.
Okay, so I'm going to go to Dave Sharp. Now, Dave, of course, he's my business partner. We're always training. Tracy Walker has to jump off. Tracy, we appreciate you. I love you, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Looking forward to it. So thanks for coming out.
See you, Trace.
Bye, Dave. Bye, Dave. Bye, Ashley.
So, Dave, you have a very particular skill set too. You're also like all of us in the sense that you're a master at 3 things, and then everything else you get other people to do who are better at it, right? And we've kind of had to evolve to that in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? It's been fun over the last year. So tell me, what are some of the philosophies that you've had or you've acquired, especially, and I want to ask this, from a different perspective, because we own Empower Network. What are some of the philosophies that you've acquired over the last year that have aided you in being able to become who you are today and to lead this charge of this company that's right now doing, 4 to 6 million a month in sales or whatever total, and we're going to double that after our next event again. But what are your main philosophies that drive being able to do what you do?